Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, well, welcome. My name is Adrina. Go ahead and do me a quick favor and hit the like, share, comment, subscribe button down below. And well, we're just gonna hop right into this video. So those of you who have been following me on TikTok, I have been posting about my pregnancy journey on there and kind of like everything I've been going through. I've also posted my previous pregnancy and like what happened with that. So anyways, on here I'm just gonna go into details about everything that went down. I do have a beautiful little boy. He is now currently gonna be 3 weeks old here like in a few days. But yeah, and then like I said, I'm just gonna spill all the tea. So yeah, we're just gonna hop right into this video. So anyways, we had moved into this apartment, me and my baby daddy. This is our first place together. We moved into this place December 14th, and actually the next day is when I found out I was pregnant. So I actually had recently just started this job. It's been a while now, so I don't remember if it was like my first day at this job or I know it's for sure my first week at this job. But anyways, so I was at work, and then during my lunch break, because we got an hour lunch break, so I ended up going to Dollar Tree, and I was just getting some stuff for the apartment, and I ended up buying a pregnancy test at Dollar Tree. Honestly, I didn't have any prior symptoms. I didn't necessarily think I was pregnant, but something told me like just get a pregnancy test. Another reason being for that is because my 21st birthday was like a few weeks, like it was in a few weeks. So I was like, I just want to make sure everything's good before I go and get like crazy drunk. But anyways, I ended up getting this pregnancy test. I really didn't know if it was going to be negative or positive. But like I said, I didn't necessarily have any symptoms of me being pregnant. So then, hold on guys, let me get some water. So then I ended up getting this pregnancy test. I went back to work and like used their bathroom, and took the test, and I was like washing my hands and just waiting for the results. And if you guys know that Dollar Tree test, in my opinion, they work pretty good. I feel like, why am I gonna go and spend all kinds of money on a test when they work just the same? And they also don't take forever for you to get your results. So anyways, I'm washing my hands and I look at the test, and sure enough it's positive. And I didn't really know what to think. Like I kind of like just froze. Like I said, like I didn't know what to think. I was in like disbelief, like I'm pregnant. Like it didn't really, like I said, I kind of was just shocked, and yeah, like I kind of froze at this point. So anyways, I wash my hands, leave the bathroom. I go back to my car because I did have like a little bit of time left on my break. And the first person I called was my great grandma, and she's like super religious and stuff. So I called her, and I'm just having like short like conversation with her, like how are you? She's like, how are you? I'm like, nothing, at work, blah blah. I'm trying to keep like the conversation really short and simple because I didn't have much time at all to talk to her. But I was like, Grandma, I gotta tell you something. And she was like, what? Blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm pregnant. And then like I kind of started getting emotional and freaking out. Like there was so many emotions I was feeling at once. And like I said, my previous pregnancy was very traumatic because I had a stillborn like at 21 weeks. So like I was freaking out. I was like, I'm scared, like I'm nervous, like I don't know. I just felt so many emotions. And my grandma, like I said, she's super religious, so she was like, everything's in God's hands, like God got you, like this is gonna be good, like don't worry, don't stress, just take care of yourself, like you're in God's hands. And I was like, okay, like, and I started to like calm myself down because I was like, I gotta go back into work. But at this point, like I honestly just wanted to go home and like not necessarily like be sad all day, but like it was just like a lot going through my head. I just wanted to go home and like just chill. But anyways, I went back to work, and I'm like I'm pregnant. So honestly, I just wanted the days to go by fast so I could go home and tell my baby daddy like, hey, I'm pregnant, we're having a baby. So then I feel like if I had more money and like if I wasn't those type of people that was like so excited when it came to things like that, I would have probably done something a little more cute, and planned something out a little better. But I was like, in my head, I was like, we just got into this apartment. Like, he's gonna need my help moving things into the apartment and lifting things. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm pregnant. So I knew I had to tell him. And so, um, like I said, I didn't have any symptoms that I was pregnant. But I don't know. It was just crazy. Um, so pretty much on my way home, I ended up calling his mom. And his mom was like, I told her, and she's like, I knew it. And so because we lived with her before we moved into these apartments, and she would always kind of be like, oh, someone's pregnant, or like, you're pregnant, you're pregnant, you're pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And I would joke with my baby daddy about it, like, oh, I'm gonna get pregnant, I'm gonna be pregnant, like for my 21st birthday, I'm gonna be pregnant, like, I'm gonna trap you, you're gonna be a dad again. Like, I would just joke, but it was never nothing serious. We didn't necessarily plan it, but we didn't prevent it. But like, I was like, I'm not gonna get pregnant anytime soon, like, um, but anyway, so like I said, my mother-in-law or whatever, she was like, oh, like, I knew it, like, she was like happy, of course, but she was not surprised because she was like, I knew it. And it's kind of crazy to me, like, how grandmas and moms, they do have like those instincts, like, sometimes there's just people in your family that always know when someone's pregnant, and most of the time it's true. So she was another person I told. At this point, my baby daddy was not the first person I told. He was like, I don't know, the fifth or something. Just kidding. But anyway, so I went home. I set up my phone on the cabinet, or the countertop, because I just wanted to get his reaction, even if it was like I didn't know what reaction I was gonna get, but I wanted to get his reaction. So I was like, hey, like, come here, like, I gotta tell you something. And he was like, what? Like, what do you gotta tell me? And at this point, like, he's in the camera. But so I pretty much just pulled out the test and showed him it, and he was like, are you serious? Like, you're pregnant? Like, what? Like, he kind of was in disbelief too. Like, he didn't really know how to react. He just like looked at the test and looked at me and looked at the test, and then like he hugged me and he was like, wow, like, this is crazy. Um, he was like excited. He was like, wow, like, we just moved into a place, and now like you're pregnant, we're having a baby, like this is crazy. And then so pretty much we ended up going to the hospital because I'm the type that I like reassurance. And so I just wanted to go to the hospital to, one, confirm that I was pregnant, to just make sure everything was okay. A lot of the times I feel like people just kind of set up like their first OBGYN appointment, but I'm the type, like, I can't wait. I'm very impatient when it comes to like that stuff. And so we went to the hospital or whatever. They did an ultrasound and they confirmed I was pregnant. I was too early along, so they really didn't see a baby or a heartbeat yet. They kind of just seen the sac of where your pregnancy forms. And so I was like, I'm pregnant, like, I'm just too early, like, but we'll give it some time. And like, yeah. And then so some time goes by, and then I end up like having some bleeding. And this was kind of like more than like, like implantation spotting. So I was having some bleeding. So I went to the hospital just because of my first pregnancy. I bled the entire time. Excuse my dog in the back. But anyways, so we went to the hospital just because I wanted to make sure everything was good. And so they pretty much were like, everything's good, like, you're obviously pregnant, like, the baby's getting bigger, like, it's normal for you to be bleeding right now. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we go home, and then some more time goes by, and I'm still having bleeding, and I'm kind of having like discomfort. And so we go in, and then they like do an ultrasound and everything, and then the doctor comes in to tell me the news. My HCG levels, like they did an ultrasound, they took like a urine sample and blood work, and my HCG levels were really high. And then the doctor's like, you're having a molar pregnancy. And pretty much a molar pregnancy is a non-cancerous tumor in your uterus that results in a non-viable pregnancy. And so they're like, this isn't going to be a successful pregnancy. Like, it's like really not a baby at all. Like, it's pretty much like a tumor. They're like, so what we want to do is we'll want to see you again for an ultrasound again, and then a D&C where they pretty much go in and scrape everything out your uterus, and they're like, then we'll want to test it and make sure that it's not cancerous. And so I didn't know how to react. One, because I didn't really, to this day, I not very knowledge on a molar pregnancy. Like, I don't really have a good understanding of what it is, but the doctor was like, it's common, but at the same time, it's like, it's uncommon. Like, it's common, but it's not common. Like, I don't know. Like, that's pretty much what they had told me when they explained it to me. And they're like, it can potentially be very dangerous. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know what to think. Like, I kind of was heartbroken. Like, I was just like, it brought me back to the time when they were like, in my first pregnancy, when they're like, oh, like, your baby has no chance of survival. Like, it kind of brought me back to that darkness, and I was just very sad and like didn't know what to think. Like I said, I was just very sad and heartbroken. And so they were like, go home, and then we want you, like, someone will get a hold of you to set up another ultrasound and a D&C and stuff like that. So I kind of went home or whatever, and I was sad, and my baby daddy was like really sad. You could tell, like, he kind of was like, damn, you know. And so anyways, I waited for them. They're like, someone will call you the next day. Well, nobody called me the next day, so I ended up bugging them, and I was like, am I supposed to schedule like the D&C myself and the ultrasound? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I've never experienced this before. Like, how are things supposed to go? Like, am I just supposed to be waiting around at home? Like, what are symptoms and stuff I'm gonna be experiencing? Like, what are things, like, I had no idea. And then so they were like, oh, like just wait. Like, someone will get back to you. And so eventually someone did get back to me, and he was like, it was the doctor, and he was like, hey, we went over your ultrasounds, blah blah, this and that, and you're not having a molar pregnancy, you're just having a normal miscarriage. Like, those are like the words. I think he said regular miscarriage, but like he said it as if it's like a super, like, well, it is common, but like I feel like he said it like it wasn't a big deal, you know. But like, to me it was a big deal. And so he was like, because I wasn't feeling good. So, and usually when you're pregnant, you can't take ibuprofen. It's just Tylenol. So he was like, I was like, I'm not feeling good. Like, I'm just like in pain or whatever. And he was like, well, if the only thing you have at your house is ibuprofen, like, you could take it. Like, you're having a miscarriage. So at this point, like, there's nothing you could do about it. So then they still wanted to see me for like an ultrasound and stuff, and like a D&C, like I said, scrape everything out of my uterus, get everything out. And so I ended up going for like that ultrasound appointment or whatever. And when they were doing an ultrasound, the doctor's like, your baby has a heartbeat. And like, I was like, what? They're like, your baby has a heartbeat. And she showed me, and like, I just was crying. Like, I like broke out in tears. Like, I feel like I'm getting emotional right now, because like, it was just a crazy day, because like I got so many mixed things that like different doctors told me, and they pretty much were like this pregnancy isn't going to be successful, you know. From going from that to being like, oh, like, your baby's good, growing, and has a heartbeat. Like it was just crazy to hear. So anyways, I told my baby dad, I was like, the baby has a heartbeat. Like, we're having a baby. Like, you could tell he didn't want to get his hopes up. And I was kind of the same way, but I also was kind of like really excited. Like, I was like, wow, like, God answered my prayers. Like, thank you. Like, I was so heartbroken and sad, and then, like, now, I don't know, like, God just works miracles, you know? And, like, miracles happen. So, anyways, yeah, so that happened, and my pregnancy was, like, my baby was growing, and my pregnancy, like, I was doing good. I was healthy, baby was healthy. I really didn't have much bleeding. Like, here and there I would have bleeding, but for the most part I didn't have any bleeding. Like, I was good. Like, I didn't really get any morning sickness or night sickness. Sometimes there would be times where I would be, like, nauseous just randomly, but I didn't really take anything for it. They did tell me, like, oh, you could take this or that, but I feel like medicine they told me I could take actually made me feel worse. So, but for the most part, I mean, my pregnancy was going fine. Like, baby was growing, you know? So, anyways, um, I hit like 19 weeks. Oh, before I say that, so I think I was like, I want to say maybe, I feel like 12 weeks, or like maybe even 16 weeks. I'm not sure. But my auntie was moving away, and so we did like pretty much like a going away party for her. And we went out and we went to like some bars or whatever. And obviously, I didn't drink because I'm pregnant, but like towards the end of the night, like I didn't feel good. Like, my body was just in a lot of pain. I feel like maybe I just overdid it, but like my body was in a lot of pain. I was having cramping, and I was actually having bleeding. So, and I was just tired. Like, it was a long night. Like, I wasn't built to be going out late at night downtown, like walking around, you know, hanging with them. Like at that moment, that's when I rethought my decisions, you know. But anyway, so I ended up coming home or whatever. Then I ended up going to the hospital that night just to make sure everything was okay, because I wasn't feeling good, and I was cramping and bleeding and just, like I said, not feeling good. And pretty much there, they ended up telling me the gender of the baby. So I found that out, and they pretty much was like, sometimes if you're like very active, like you could have some like cramping and discomfort. But anyways, everything was okay, so I ended up going home and just like going to sleep because like everything was okay. And some time went by, and now we hit 19 weeks, and it was in the nighttime, around like 8, and I felt like I needed to go bathroom, so I went bathroom or whatever, and then like I was done, and then like I just go back to like the room or whatever, and I was like leaking fluid, and I was like, okay, like I have to go bathroom again. So I went bathroom again, but it wasn't really much. I was like, the first thing I thought was like, oh, maybe I have like a UTI or something. Like, I'm like, because when you have a UTI, like you like use the bathroom more frequently. And so I was like, okay, like maybe I have a UTI. Like, I'm not sure what's going on, but like obviously I'm just peeing a lot, you know. And then so at this point, like I realized like I literally cannot be off the toilet long without like me leaking fluid. And so I, during this time, my baby daddy was in the shower, so I go in the shower, like not in the shower, but I go in the bathroom, like, because we have two bathrooms, and I go in the bathroom, I was like, hey, like, we need to go to the hospital. He's like, why, is everything okay, like, are you good? And I was like, I'm peeing myself, and I can't stop peeing myself, like, I don't know what's going on. And I wasn't necessarily like freaking out, but I was kind of just really confused, like, what the heck is going on? So then he's like, okay. He gets out, he takes me to the hospital, and at this point, like, and like I ended up putting like a pad on, and I still was leaking a lot of fluid. It was just going through it. So I was like, we ended up going to the hospital, and it was like at 8:30 p.m. So then we get to the hospital. By the time I get to the hospital, like my pants, and I'm wearing like pretty thick sweats, and my pants are like soaked. So I was like, I can't even sit down at this point because I just feel so gross and like wet and uncomfortable. And so go to the hospital, I get checked in to a room or whatever, and then the doctor's like, I'm gonna need to test your fluid just to see like if it's amniotic fluid, see if your water broke. So it's like this little like plastic thing that she used to test my fluid. It literally looked like a little pregnancy test. But anyways, she ended up testing my fluid, and sure enough, it was amniotic fluid. And so they did an ultrasound and all that, and they're like, oh yeah, like your water broke. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm only 19 weeks. Like this can't be happening. No, like no, like I'm freaking out. And so they're like, there's not much, since you're not in pain or in active labor or anything, there's not much we could do for you. So, I mean, you could spend the night here, but, like, we're not going to be really doing anything. You would just pretty much be hanging out in the hospital room. And then, so, I was like, whatever, we'll just go home. Like, I feel more comfortable at home. And so, they're like, the next day we want you to see the doctor. And so the next day I ended up going to like this high risk doctor, and they do another ultrasound and stuff just see like what's going on. And sure enough, my water was broken and the baby had really no fluid around him. And they're like, so they were kind of telling me that like things like my choices. They're like, you could terminate this pregnancy or you could kind of just play the waiting game. Since you were 19 weeks, like baby's not really at a viable gestational age. And they're telling me like babies who have low fluid, um, they will have like health problems, like especially when it comes to their lungs, because they need that fluid to help their lungs like develop. And so the doctors just tell me everything, and I'm just kind of like really sad and nervous and freaking out. I'm like, please, like God, like watch over me, watch over my baby, like please, like I don't want to go through another traumatic experience. And so I was like, you know what, like, my baby's fine. Like he looks happy in there. He's moving. He has a healthy heart rate, and I wasn't in labor or anything. My cervix wasn't opening, so I was like, I'm gonna give my baby a chance. Like, I'm not gonna give up. Like I don't know. I was like, I don't want to terminate. Like I rather play the waiting game and give my baby a chance and see what happens than just kind of give up. And then so yeah, that's what I did. I played the waiting game. It was mentally draining and emotionally draining. I every day like I was they're like, so this is what we'll do. You could pretty much go home, play the waiting game. We'll do an ultrasound every week just to see how baby's doing and how like you're doing on amniotic fluid. And they were like, and at 23 weeks we want to admit you into the hospital for monitoring. So I was like, okay, whatever, we'll go that route. Like we're gonna do what we gotta do. And so then at this point I was counting down the days until I was 23 weeks, because that's when baby is viable and has a fighting chance. And so all my ultrasounds, my amniotic fluid stayed very low, but baby still was very healthy and growing and had a healthy heart rate. So that of course made me feel better. But like at this point, once your water breaks, like you could potentially give labor and baby could come at any time. So I was really scared of that. And so like every day I was kind of just praying, and like I was every day it would turn like I'd be okay, like we're getting closer and closer to me being admitted into the hospital. And so of course when it's 23 weeks I got admitted to the hospital. At that point I couldn't leave the hospital. I was getting my temperature checked every 4 hours. Baby was getting his heart monitored 3 times a day, so like morning, afternoon, and night. And he would get put on the monitor, and they at least wanted him on the monitor for an hour. My baby was super wiggly and just super active, so sometimes my hour would turn into 3 hours, but overall he was doing good. He had a healthy heart rate. They would draw blood for me here and there, and overall me and baby were super healthy. They ended up doing the glucose test, I ended up having gestational diabetes. That was a bummer because I love eating, and then getting told like, oh, I have to like be restricted and start moderating and like what I'm eating and stuff like that. I was like, dang, like this baby's just doing so much to me. I was like, but whatever, my baby's healthy and happy, so at this point, like, that's all that matters. So anyways, I'm pretty much just chilling in the hospital at this point. Like I said, I couldn't leave the hospital. I could go outside and walk around, but I couldn't like leave the property at all. They had a pool in the hospital, so I was able to go to the pool at like in the morning. I didn't necessarily go often, but I, for the majority of my time, I kind of just watched Netflix or movies and shows or whatever. That's kind of all I did, and just like slept. I had to take medication. I was taking medication so I was getting shots twice a day, morning and night, and it's called heparin. It pretty much was to help prevent blood clots, and so I was getting shots daily. I don't think you guys could see, no, but like my arms were super bruised, but I was getting shots. I was taking medication morning and night. I was taking medication for heartburn. I was taking medication for like prenatals. I was taking my antidepressants. I was taking medication for infections, like antibiotics, because like that was kind of a thing. Once your water breaks, you are at higher risk for infection. So I was taking antibiotics, and so yeah, that's kind of what I was doing. That's kind of how my hospital visit went. And so pretty much the goal was for me to stay in the hospital and keep baby cooking inside until 34 weeks. Then at 34 weeks, I'll get induced. I would have a C-section or natural birth, just depending on the position and the health of the baby. And so, well, we didn't make it to 34 weeks. We only made it to 27 weeks. And so I turned 27 weeks on a Sunday. And the Friday before, that's actually when I started getting like contractions. It was manageable, but it did hurt. And so they ended up putting me on magnesium and ended up like monitoring my contractions. And so the magnesium, it's for baby's brain, to like protect baby's brain, I guess, but it also made me not feel the contractions as much, and pretty much like slowed things down. And so they also checked my cervix, and I was 2 centimeters dilated. And then so my contractions did slow down or whatever. And then Saturday comes around, I'm still having contractions. They give me I believe they gave me Tylenol. So yeah, so I'm still having contractions, but I'm like, whatever, like it's manageable. Like I'm just gonna breathe through it and like just deal with it, like I still wasn't dilated much. Then Sunday comes around, and my contractions are just getting worse. They're hurting. They're closer together. They checked my cervix again, and I believe I was like 4 centimeters dilated. So they're like, okay, like at this point, we're having a baby today. They're like, your cervix, like you dilated pretty quickly, just within a small amount of time. So they're like, yeah, baby's coming. They're like, you're having contractions. That's probably your body's way of telling you like you might have an infection. And so pretty much they're like, yeah, we need to get baby out of here, because if you have an infection, it could be dangerous to your health and baby. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna have a baby today. So they give me magnesium, they get everything ready. And so at this point, I called my baby dad. I was like, we're gonna have a baby, so you need to get over here. So he got to the hospital very quickly, and like this was in the morning. And so we're kind of just playing the waiting game now, just waiting until I dilate more and more. And then so at this point, they ended up giving me Pitocin, because they're like, the magnesium slowing things down, and that's not really what we want. We want to speed up the process and deliver this baby. So they give me Pitocin, and then my contractions start coming like very consistently and very strong. And like at this point, they were hurting, and I'm still trying to breathe through it, because I I wanted to go natural. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to get the epidural. I wanted to really try my best to go natural. And so I'm trying to breathe through them. Like, I'm trying to really, like, get through these contractions, you know? And I'm, like, telling myself, like, okay, like, you got this. You got this. Like, pep talking myself and all that. And then I made it to about, like, 5 centimeters. And then I was like, okay, like somebody give me the epidural, because at this point, like, my body is shaking, like, I'm in lots of pain, my eyes are rolling to the back of my head, I feel like I'm gonna throw up, like, I feel like I'm about to pass out, like, I was like, no, I can't do this. So I ended up kind of crying because I felt like a failure for getting the epidural, because that's originally, like, not what my plan was, but, like, I just couldn't go through the pain. Like, it really hurt, like, bad, to me, in my opinion. So props to the people who go natural. And if you get the epidural, it doesn't make you any less of a mom. I just want you guys to know that, because in the moment, like, that's kind of how I felt. But anyway, so we got the epidural ordered or whatever, and like I said, I was 5 centimeters, and so of course it took like a whole hour before I actually got the epidural. So I feel like at this point I was probably about 6 centimeters. And so I got the epidural, and then it hit pretty quickly. And with my first pregnancy, I did deliver vaginally and also get the epidural, and I feel like the epidural did not work. But with this pregnancy, the epidural worked pretty quickly. And now to think about it, like, I'm glad I got it, because I was in no pain and actually got to experience my birth. Like, I actually got to experience all of it. I did deliver him vaginally because he was head down, and I only pushed for 7 minutes, which I feel like is fast. Like, I didn't tear anything when baby came out. Like, usually sometimes babies' heart rates could drop a little bit, or they could like spike up, and his stayed pretty consistent through it all. So, like, he was ready to come out. Of course, so when he was born, he only weighed 2 pounds, about 9 ounces. So, and only was like measuring about 12 inches, so he was very small. I had him at 27 weeks, so I had him 3 months early, guys. So he is a NICU baby. Like I said, he'll be 3 weeks. He did end up losing a little bit of weight the first few days, but that's completely normal. But now he's up at his birth weight. Well, actually a little bit over. He's now 2 pounds, almost 13 ounces. So he's doing really good. He's growing. He's stable. He's going up on the amount of food he gets. So my baby's doing really good. So yeah, that's kind of so far how my pregnancy journey was and how everything's going as of right now. I'm gonna just wrap this video up. Like I said, please subscribe, comment, like, share, to all that good stuff. And I do want to apologize for my quality right now. I will try my best to, like, just get, like, yeah, just give me some time, you know. But thank you guys for watching this video. For those of you who watched it all the way to the end, I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and follow me on all social media platforms. I'll comment them down below in the description. And like I said, thank you guys once again for watching my video. And bye. Have a good day. Enjoy.